I'll just give the, well, we got over 1,000 viewers right now. I'm just going to give a quick intro, 1 minute intro to Wim, to introduce Wim. For those of you who don't know who Wim Hof is, he is a Dutch athlete, and I will start with one thing that I haven't done before. I'm going to start with a recitation of what I wrote for you on the 7 days in the summer of 2017. You are a relentless wolf emerging from the shadows to bring the giants who have enslaved humanity to their knees, collecting a pack of wolves, ferocious wolves along the way, to bring the purpose that the human race so desperately needs.
Yeah!
Yes, yes. Wim Hof, a Dutch athlete, broke 26 Guinness World Records, including being submerged in ice for an hour, 52 minutes, 42 seconds. One of the kindest and most humble human beings I've ever met. He has flipped the medical community upside down, been studied by Stanford, Harvard, different universities around the world, with everything he's doing right now to bring mental health and physical health to a whole new level. Wim Hof, it's so good to see you. It is so good to have you here again.
Love it, Sam. Love it. Hey, man, I'm into my... I just released they published a new book, which is going great. New York Times bestseller, Sunday Times bestseller, already translated to 19 languages.
Wow.
I'm already into the following book. And the following book is going into the DNA, into the RNA. How we at will are able to influence beyond any understanding of medical science up till now, and especially in psychiatry, how to influence that what makes us related per direct, per instant with our soul. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes.
Don't go too far. The soul.
No. I cannot wait to dive into that, by the way. This is one of the things that I cannot wait to dive into.
And what it brings, this exercising at will to go within the RNA, then into the DNA, that is into the ancestry, to rule over yourself. In shortcut, bottom line, to learn to rule over yourself. Yes. I think that's just the logic of nature itself. Only we alienate it from nature by our schooling and the system and all that. And you see what the system has brought us? A lot of pollution and a lot of exploitation and inequality. Hey, something needs to be reset. Let's go back. Let's go back to the core. Who are we? By innate capacity, born to be wild, happy, strong, and healthy. So the confidence. We go for the confidence. And the second book is about how to de-traumatize the DNA, the encrypted codes of the past, and how to unlock those proteins at will. Now we have the measurement devices, and I've been in nature, and I found ways to get back to the core, simply the way nature meant it to be.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have so many different ways of approaching this. We have questions that we are receiving. We have questions that I've already written down from the DMs I received. And anybody that has questions, please share it in the chat, and I'm going to go through it as well. And at the same time, we have a lot of topics that we can cover. One of them including trauma that is very, very dear to my heart, especially. And this is what I'm working on in terms of emotional healing and helping people heal the emotional wounds that they've been carrying in their life, because we have two types of emotional wounds. The emotional wounds that have happened to us due to a trauma in our life and our lives, and an emotional wound that we have inherited. And we can release both, and there are different ways of making that happen. One of the things that I would love to explore with you, Wim, is the application of the Wim Hof breathing method and the Wim Hof method in general, in terms of repurposing it and applying it and combining it with different things. And through the questions that I've received, we can tackle a couple of them. definitely.
Good.
An example that I want to share real quick before we dive into the questions. There's a lot of questions, a lot of really good questions. Is the idea of when I do emotional healing and I do the processing, when the resolution takes place, there is an integration period of 72 hours for the body for the nervous system to integrate. And I noticed that the Wim Hof method would accelerate that integration of the nervous system.
Wow.
And so there's a very interesting combination of emotional healing for processing emotions to release them, and using the breath work, which on its own, it can actually help on its own release trauma. As I mentioned, the story of the 18-year-old girl that after 5 years of not crying, we did three rounds of the Wim Hof method, and she cried for the first time in 5 years. So there is this spontaneous healing that takes place, the spontaneous release of emotions. But it's interesting to combine emotional healing that is very specific to certain wounds, whether it's grief, whether it's sadness, whether it's a certain trauma, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fear, whether it's frustration or shame, and combining that with the Wim Hof method by doing the breathing, for example, as an integration. There's something else related to that I'll touch upon when we dive into the questions. So are you ready for the questions? Okay. Here we go. Kimberly M. I've been sick with EBV since 2012, and it hit my spinal cord. The doctors have been stumped as to why I'm in so much pain constantly. Any help is appreciated. So she was basically asking, I would imagine what she's asking is basically, would the Wim Hof method help with that?
Yes, I would recommend directly the power breathing, which is about 30 deep breaths.
Yes.
Then you take them fully in, you hold, and you squeeze, contract the abdomen, then you contract the chest, and then you go up in your head and you squeeze like you have to go on the toilet. Okay. You got to get the shit out.
Yeah.
That way. Yes?
Yes.
In that way, you exercise the ganglia in the spine with an extra current. Cerebrospinal fluid will go up the spine. That's an extra current that is able to possibly alleviate her pain. That is one. Two, through this breathing, you will touch. If you do it good enough, it's all up to the person and the person's condition. If she is able to take on a workout with the breathing, then you are able to activate the opioids in the endocannabinoid system, yes, which is in the brain. And by bringing the cerebrospinal fluid up, it flourishes inside and it activates whatever needs to be activated. So the whole brain will be flushed with cerebrospinal fluid, which has been shown in a study in Germany. We did 100%. And then the right areas of the brain, in this case, the endocannabinoid system, which is a place of opioids and cannabinoids, will be activated. That will alleviate her pain.
There you go, Kimberly. Thank you so much, Wim, for that. This exercise, which is kind of similar to my question last time when we were doing the push-ups, holding it on an inhale creates more pressure, which alleviates inflammation. And inflammation, the thing about inflammation is you got redness, swelling, hotness, and pain. These are the 4 signs of inflammation. You reduce inflammation, you reduce pain. And reducing inflammation is what the Wim Hof method is very well known for, which makes it a very powerful way to manage pain. Just to be clear. Okay.
Another thing,
yes.
If she is able to get into ice water bathing, it's the thermoshock. It's the hypothalamus training, going into the ice.
I see.
Which is also connected to the periaqueductal gray hemisphere in the brain, the deepest, same spot as the activation for opioids and cannabinoids. I mean, when you go into cold water, it is you who is going into the cold water. That means your will is present while you embark into this very stressful situation. And at that moment, the will is making a connection, neurological connection, with the endocannabinoid system, the pain center, to confront itself with the conscious exercise of going into the ice bath. And that will ultimately learn her to consciously take care of pain.
Wow. So you just described, everybody that is watching, Wim Hof just described a beautiful recipe for pain in general. Now, just a caveat, because I think one of the good questions to ask here, and we can talk about the list and cover that. There are certain conditions that are mentioned in the book. There are certain conditions I remember asking about years ago because I wanted to know what are the conditions, the things to keep in mind. So when someone has a migraine headache, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Wim, when someone has a migraine headache, the idea is to not go into an ice bath, or to do it gradually, because that's the only
gradually.
kind of gradually. So they can still do it. Okay.
If you really have a chronic ailment, chronic condition, go to a instructor, because there are instructors everywhere. You should be able to get to an instructor. Otherwise, you get into the community, which we have, with 150,000 people, I think, something like that. And they had all ailments, and now it's gone.
Yes.
It works like a hospital. You get your advice for free. Just shoot it into the community and it will be answered, because everybody knows what you are experiencing.
The chances are a member of the community has already been through what you've been through. So
yes.
If you ask the community, they're going to provide the answer anyway. But the idea is going into the ice bath gradually is still possible. It's
yes.
better to do it with kind of a supervision to a degree, supports by an instructor, or at least get some tips from the community as well. But the idea is you can still go into the ice bath, even if you have migraine headaches, but you need to do it a bit cautiously and consciously. And yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Sonia Law. Does the breathing method help with grief and letting go of the past?
Wow, yes, it does. When you go into the breathing, you actually reset through the deep activation of the adrenal axis. So anything that should not be inside the body to function well will be extradited out. Adrenaline does that. So even emotions will be neutralized. Another one, if you have grief and it really gets to you, then do the first mentioned breathing exercise to bring down the out of balance chemistry of hormones in the brain caused by the grief, causes in the end the wrong genome expressions, which causes inflammation, which goes through the brain-blood barrier and then messes up the hormonal balance, and you have no longer control. That can be reinstalled, rebalanced by doing the breathing, the first mentioned breathing, like in an instant. I mean, you do the 30 times, you take them on, fully in, do the belly contraction, chest contraction, and then the head squeezing, then it's going to be all right. Just try it out.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. There's another question by Samira, which is kind of similar to a bit different, but it's interesting. Why does breathing affect emotion?
Wow.
I know. The questions, they're really, really good questions.
Yes. So breathing is able to go past our conditioned mind. Because we have shown in brain scans how to go past our willful control of ourselves. So the emotion is seated in the deepest of our brain, the amygdala, the hippocampus, even the hypothalamus. In the deepest of the brain is our emotion seated. And once the breathing causes a reaction because of altered, heightened biochemical activity inside the brain, it overflows our willful control. It overflows the center. It goes everywhere. And once it goes everywhere, suddenly you get connection because you wanted it all the time. But you could not because there was no connection, willful connection. There was no willful environment. Now you created it yourself. This has been shown in brain scans. So get confidence and tackle your emotion when it is down, when it's not nice. You are able to bring back the emotion to where it belongs. Being. Just being. You just want to be. So just being is your right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that's interesting about the link between breath and emotion, when I read that question, it just kept on circulating in my head. Because here's the thing, we are emotional beings, and the way we express is through muscle. The only way for us to communicate with another human being, the only way for us to communicate with ourselves on a conscious level is through muscle. So verbal, nonverbal, physical, vocal, when we speak, that's muscle. When we breathe, that's muscle. That's the most primal, that's the basic form of expression through breathing. And so if I'm breathing, it is a form of expressing. It's a nonverbal way to express how I feel. It is a way to also release how I feel. It is a way to maintain how I feel. And it's a way to enhance how I feel. So if I'm feeling anxious and I start to hyperventilate, I am maintaining the emotion that I feel. If I start to, it works in the opposite way. So if I feel something, I intend to need to express it. And the first way is through breathing. But if I want to change how I feel, I can easily breathe differently. And that suddenly lowers, or you start to starve that emotion from the enabling that's happening through the hyperventilation from anxiety, if that makes sense. It's a very, very, very strong connection between both of them. And so the idea of letting go, one of the ways I look at the body is there are so many metaphors and lessons within the body itself, physiological metaphors, physiological lessons. For example, breathing in and of itself is a lesson in and of itself of the way we should live. And to me, breathing, deep inhale, deep exhale, to me is just unconditional acceptance through an inhale and unapologetic expression through an exhale. And so when we start breathing in and out in such a deep way, slowly, deep inhale, complete prolonged exhale, as we are thinking of the things that are bothering us, what you're suggesting to your unconscious mind is I unconditionally accept what happened to me, what happened in the past, and I'm beginning to express it and release it in this moment through that exhale.
Wow, yeah, oh, profound.
So it's, thank you.
Love it, love it, love it. It's poetry, it's poetry. It's not psychiatry, it's poetry. That it is. And another thing, so when you find out that through the breathing you are able to reinstall, rebalance your biochemistry, then know you are the alchemist. That is one. Then two, with your thoughts, you will suddenly, you are able to cleanse yourself, to go for your goals, to be not disturbed, uninterrupted being you are going to be through the acceptance of breathing in and letting go. That's one. And then second, it is the power of the mind, our beliefs. And it now is able to enter even into the RNA, into the DNA. That is what controls us from the genetical past and wants to control us right here, right now. And that is the life's lesson. The thing is, what do you do with it? Because now we have the choice. We have seen that through simple techniques, we can reinstall what is ours. And what is ours is being here and now, and to bring love, and to share it, and to feel strong about it, yes, and have great confidence that we are able to do that any moment when we need to do that.
Absolutely. I just received so many messages right now. I guess they were pumped up because we were talking about the breathing, and they're like, please do a live breathing session. But I just wanted to acknowledge that. If you're up for it, that would be great. If not, we can keep going with the questions. We have questions that we can talk about. We can discuss.
I'm here now for the questions. Okay. Follow up the breathing app. It's all for free. And there is so much more to come. Absolutely. I tell you, we are the pack of wolves now, yes, ferocious pack of wolves. And we bring that has brought injustice to our families, to the world, to their knees. And now we do this together because we have the knowledge, because we follow the line of love, full in confidence and full in power. Here we are, open. Here we are, vulnerable, and we are strong, and we will break the walls.
Yes.
There we are. And it's all coming, guys. So you better be ready. Breathe and be along and find your confidence, because you need to be strong. We need to break down these barriers. Absolutely. Not only for us, for all the others.
They're really, okay. So we're going to talk about the really relentless wolves that want to breathe right now. Let's keep going with the questions, and let's feel it. What Wim and I realized is we don't need preparation. We just need to step into the moment. So if we're going to breathe, we're going to breathe. But for now, let's focus on the questions, because a lot of people last time we didn't get a chance to answer any questions, and they're really
while listening, guys, breathe.
Yes.
Do you notice? Yeah. Breathing. And I get the knowledge from the university of what to do. Our purpose here in the life is to bring love in this most beautiful spot in the universe, which is the earth. And the way we pollute it, exploit it, etc., it's got to stop. We bring love.
Yes.
Powerful, strong. And the wisdom of the universe will be channeled if you are only the receiver. Breathing, believing. There it is. And absolutely, we change the science fundamentally. I'm not a scientist. I'm an investigator of life. My right is to know the soul, full bloom, and to share it. Because I love you.
I love you too. We all love you, Wim. Focus on inhaling and exhaling deeply as you're watching this, because it does enhance the emotion. And if you have noticed last time when I was talking, I've wanted to even ask Wim about it, so I may just pop in right now and ask that question. There are moments you don't do the 30 rounds, you do some deep breathing sometimes when I'm talking about something, and I think what's happening is certain things that I'm saying that make so much sense with you, that connect with you, that is an epiphany for you, Wim. You suddenly take it in with a deep breath and take it out, like you're capturing that moment, and it's a beautiful thing to do. So please correct me. Is that a fair statement in terms of?
You are able to connect through the breathing. You are making yourself alkaline. You're making yourself favorable for the electricity, the nervous system, the ethereal, like radio signals, radio Gaga. Radio Goo Goo. You know the songs, guys?
Absolutely.
But it is real.
Absolutely.
We are receivers and senders. And with the right breathing, we get a beautiful radio going on. And we will be able to channel to anything with the greatest music, the furthest places, the greatest tunes, anything. And that will make you happy. So get on the radio, Gaga.
Yes. Yes. Okay, everybody, just focus on breathing deeply as you're taking this in. Next question, ignorance is bliss. How to cure eczema, atopic dermatitis. So basically that's the question.
Eczema is an allergic reaction of histamine.
Mm-hmm.
It's inflammation. So the breathing plus going into the cold will cure the eczema because it brings down the inflammation. There it is.
Perfect.
Simple, just do it.
Perfect. Just to touch upon that as well, which is something I mentioned in the last IG Live, Wim Hof Method tackles the nervous system and tackles the immune system. The immune system is connected to every possible disease known to man, from infection to inflammation to degeneration to autoimmunity to immunodeficiency to allergies to cancer. Everything is connected to the immune system. You tackle the immune system, you tackle everything. So this is to simplify it, but obviously each illness, each mental and physical illness may have a specific kind of way of tackling it, and that's why we're asking these questions as well. So, RV Benabe, I guess, I have 11 vertebrae fused with incomplete paralysis and extreme chronic pain. I need help firing up my nervous system. I stopped opiates 2 years ago, and I'll try anything, any suggestions for solutions?
Yes, the first breathing. I just did the research on people with spinal cord injuries, low and high spinal cord injuries, being paralyzed. And we had great success within 4 weeks. One of the successes therein was it alleviates the pain. You learn to control the pain. Get back to the first mentioned breathing exercise, which was the power breath to activate the periaqueductal gray hemisphere, which is the endocannabinoid system, the one of the opioids. Not only opioids, but also cannabinoids. So no CBD oil needed because you got your own. And the opioids, you got your own. But you got to get to that. So the first mentioned exercise in this podcast or live stream, that is the one you got to follow. It's called the power breathing.
Power breathing.
People in the university who saw all these things happening.
Okay, perfect. One thing to mention to people that are in the audience right now that are attending, if you have anyone in your life that you believe would benefit from this live, just WhatsApp them, text them right now, get them on, link them right now. We're just getting started. Okay, so Eric Rostirola, I believe, you guys said we should listen to our fear. If I listen to it, won't I let it dictate what I will and will not do in the present? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
No, when you listen to your fear, you are not running away. That's what the fear actually is all about. The fear is a psychic signal that you, if you follow, if you ignore it, then you will be insufficient in a dangerous situation which could come. That's why fear comes. It says you are not ready here. And it shows that fear. You got fear for dark places or fear for heights. Then go and learn how to climb. Go and learn how to go into dark places. Because nothing goes on if you go consciously toward your fear and learn. It is a great teacher.
Thank you. It's an interesting, when I read the question, I wanted to mention it because a lot of people, there's a difference between listening and submitting. If I'm listening to someone that is complaining about something, I'm not getting them to dictate my life. I'm learning from them, learning what they need to help them. I'm understanding. There's knowledge being acquired. I'm not submitting to my fear by listening to it. I'm learning from the fear. I'm learning how to change my relationship to fear. And if there's one little thing to mention about emotions and our connection to emotions, the real power of the change that could happen comes from changing your relationship to the emotion, changing your relationship to the situation, not changing the situation itself. When you change the relationship, the dynamic, everything changes. And one of the ways is your perspective, your perception. And an example is the concept of intention, which is key for almost everything. If you have a strong intention about something, you are laser focused. And if we change the intention, the way we perceive something, why am I with this person, talking to this person? What's my intention? If my intention is to manipulate the person, obviously the relationship, the dynamic, the outcome, everything is different than if my intention is to add value to the person or to bring out value for them to see the value they've had all along that they've missed out on. It's a totally different outcome, totally different dynamic. And all that is the way your intention determines everything, determines outcome. I don't know if I, yeah. So
intention, the power of intention, exactly. That is the new science, the new neuroscience. So the principle is, if you are able to change the body's neurological condition, neurological environment, then the neurology is able to connect with your will, and you are able to command your body, because the neurology is okay, the biochemical environment is okay. That's what the breathing does. Then suddenly the power of your intention comes in. And an intention can be color red, color green, something in between, purple, blue, yellow, all the emotions, all the whole spectrum. And you can make that laser thin, beautiful little signal coming from your will to command your body. And that is called interoception. Top-down regulation, new psychiatry. I showed it. It's top-down regulated. So for the first time, we have been shown how to willfully command the body top-down. And that's where people struggle. Oh, what is the intention with that? It's a signal, guys. It's an electrical little signal in the right environment, biochemical environment. It's like when we were young or something, my mother used to have me kneel down on the ground before going to bed to do a prayer for the other day to be good and to be blessed and to be protected by God. Yes, that is a very subtle intention. Always works. And this, we have unlearned this. And now science has come in and it says, hey, don't throw the baby with the bathing water all out, you know? The past is gone, but what have we learned of the past? There were good things. And one of the good things is the prayer, the relationship with something that is much more powerful than you outside, that protects you, that is there providing for you all the time. Relentlessly, it does. But we think we are better. And then it doesn't work anymore. Because how can you be better than something that is so much better than us? Hey, it lets you, until you, boom, you bang your head, or you have this in your relationship, you don't know anymore, get too much stress, you get an autoimmune disease, all these things. And the school did not learn us about these things. They want us part of a production process, and not necessary to see what is confidence, and what if you get the sack in the future, then nobody learned how to deal when you get the sack and you have no money, and suddenly you have a very difficult situation to handle. Let's get back to the power of intention. Let's get back to our confidence. Let's take over what is ours to be happy, strong, and healthy. It's only our right. It's a logic of Mother Nature itself. And now we have brought it to the DNA and the RNA. We have brought it to psychiatry itself, into brain scans, into blood samples. So there is actually no speculation about all this, what we are mentioning. It's only a matter of how much has the nonsense embedded in our conditioned lives in this world. Because this world, as you see, completely confused. It's only about gain and more and more and more and more and more, and power and power and power. Where's the love? Where's the love, the caring, the confidence of you and me in this moment? Because this is the way Mother Nature blessed us all, to be there. If we don't do anything, we are just blissful beings. Because it is blissful to be. Where we are is a wonder, is a miracle. And we should feel that confidence. And if it is not there, get the power of your intention growing. Get your confidence back. And get your being back. And that's who you are. Love, love. Yes.
Beautiful. That was beautiful, Wim. I love what you said about the idea of the connection with a higher power, because I think ego disconnects us from the higher power. Arrogance is ego on steroids. And I always thought of the difference.
Arrogance, ego on steroids.
I always thought of confidence and arrogance and the difference between confidence and arrogance. And to me, arrogance is confidence minus humility. And I think, you know, humility, once you add humility to confidence, that's it. It's filled. Once you take away humility from confidence, it's now arrogance. Because the humility is what grounds us. The humility is what allows us to be kind.
This is it. If you have humility with your confidence, then you are getting your energy from the universe, from the cosmos, from the environment, from the hemisphere. You know, it's there every time. I eat once a day, and breathing is my other food, and the rest is just being happy. And where is it? It's all over, all the time. But when you become arrogant, then you need to suppress others. And that's why you have that attitude, because then you have no longer this connection with the omnipresence. You need to have connection with latching on people, like, and parasiting on them, on their energy. That's why you get that attitude. So poor people they are, but also don't let them, tell them, make them awake where they are. In the Bible, they said, if you're being slapped on this side, then show the other cheek. No, now we got signs. We got signs to show it. That the omnipresence is there for everybody. And there is plenty of energy for everybody, 1,000 times more than we need. Absolutely. So there is no need for arrogance. Just be humble and ask Mother Nature, or whatever name you give it. Once you connect, and the energy will flow.
It's amazing. I wanted to ask you about, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, because you're one of the most humble human beings I've ever met. And I remember telling you this so many times. So in terms of the humility and confidence and arrogance, I know that you mentioned that humility helps us connect. But can you talk a bit more about humility? Like, what's your definition of humility? What is it to be humble? If somebody isn't humble, how can they be humble?
Simply looking at what is happening around the world, and not only the majesty, the grandeur of nature itself, of a little flower coming out of the ground. the grass. If you are able to see that, then the one who is able to value the little is ready for the big. And that, what I mean with that is healing others is going past yourself. And if you begin to heal and help others, it will come back to you. And it's almost the most egotistic thing, because it feels so good to help others, to help nature, to be here every day. I mean, I don't get a clue of what really is happening, but I understand enough to be perfectly okay.
Beautiful. I think one of the things that come to mind with humility is, and you just brought nature, and someone was saying nature is humble or nature is humility. I missed it, but I think it's one of the ways to be humble can be just deciding to be present. And one of the ways to be humble is to be in nature. One of the benefits of being in nature is it's effortless to be humble when you're surrounded with so much beauty and so much vastness and spaciousness and the beautiful creations that are
exactly. And that is, that's exactly where I got all my knowledge from nature. And then I went to the universities, and then I changed it fundamentally, because nature knows all the answers to all our problems, because we are part of nature. Only we thought we can alienate, we can be suppressing nature within us and out there. And then now we are paying the bill. We have to come back. And I tell you, being in nature with the grandeur of nature it's just, it's bliss. Where I get images of being there in nature, under the ice, on the rocks, in the canyons, and the grandeur is so enormous. I've been in the intestines of the earth, in the heart of the earth, in the liquid spaces, and all by challenging my mind and my body. And I found out, if you are humble, you will get everything you need to know the soul and realize it for yourself and for all the others you're going to meet. Because you're going to tell about the beauty of the grandeur outside, which normally is being trodden by people. I don't care, I need to go to my work. They don't see it anymore. It's gone. What is gone inside. And that disconnects us from answers we need. When we stay too long inside, it's like locked up. And then problems evolve because of the tension. You are not flowing, you are not in connection, and then you don't know the answers. You go to doctors, and you go to this, and you go to the system, and you become dependent. But you should not be dependent. You should be struck by awe. Every morning you rise out of bed. I'm gonna live today fully. Yeah, what I'm gonna do. This. Beautiful.
Yes. What you're referring to is natural wisdom, which is a term you used in your book. And one thing I didn't do last time, and I need to rectify that. This is the Wim Hof Method Book. And I'm going to mention it several times here as well, but I just want to make sure that I mention it right now. If you haven't gotten it, you can either go to wimhof.com, wimhofmethod.com, or you can go directly to Amazon. Amazon is like probably the easiest and fastest way to get it, wimhofmethod.com or Amazon, and you will have the Wim Hof Method Book, incredible book that covers everything from Wim's story to all the studies that have been conducted, the most important ones, the most prominent ones, and a very deep dive into everything that he's done and everything he's gonna do. Because you just mentioned something about the next book, which is based on what you're doing right now. I'm super excited about that. In terms of the, there's a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions. Would you like to keep going? You ready to keep going?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
What you said, the next book is a another ground-breaking book. That's not only overconfidence of myself. No, we have to change the science. We have to show that the soul is back, that the way to get to the soul and its understanding and consciousness is back. And we have found the way through the brain scans, the blood samples, psychiatry, immunology, etc. That the world is not ready is because they are still in the money and all this and that and the past paradigm. Of course, I know. But let me tell you, we found the keys to everybody's temple.
Yes.
You all have a beautiful temple, mosque, church, or great place within. And it's beautiful. It's you inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the greatest journeys is an internal journey where we connect with ourselves. And whenever we're focusing on trying to connect with external, objects in order for us to kind of find ourselves, we're disconnecting from ourselves. And I think the Wim Hof breathing is a great way to kind of ground us so we can finally meet our true self through that mental stillness, so we could see the clear reflection and be authentic beings of who we were meant to be.
It's like, Bassam, it's like we are going to show a map. And if you want to use the map, it shows you from your angle where you are to the soul, how to go.
Yes.
And every day is a possible, is a new day to write a new page in that book. And very soon you will know your soul inside out.
Beautiful.
We provide the map, a direction. That's what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just going to ask one more question for this page. I got like 4 pages, by the way. I just want to scratch that out. Rube 007. Can the Wim Hof method help in mitochondrial disorders, muscle disorders?
Yes. Yes, directly. Aerobic dissimulation, it's called. We create through the breathing more ATP. More ATP is more molecules, it's more energy. And that goes into plasticity. And if the inside the cell, yes, I tell, yes, if the mitochondria or any other place in the cell is being disturbed, then that chain will be relieved, that will be helped, will be corrected. It's all through the breathing. The breathing is like cleansing through with energy, biochemistry. So you can alter that. And together with these exercises of the cold and the breathing, you are exercising the cell skin. Because most of the times it's because there is a weakened cell membrane going on. So inflammation is able to get in and to disturb specific places with specific persons. In this case, the mitochondria, the energy factories. But if the cell membrane suddenly is stronger, then the same inflammation is not able to get in. Then the cell gets into a war-free zone. It gets into repair, restoration. So just do the breathing, do the cold, and get your mind going, because your signaling arrives in the DNA, arrives in the cell. It's all new science, guys. If it sounds like hocus pocus, I'm sorry, it's not.
It is not.
Magic of yourself. Your mind. Yes.
I can assure you it is not hocus pocus. I'm a medical professional and I am a researcher, and I've been researching the Wim Hof method for the last 5 years. And I can assure you it is not hocus pocus. I've tried it myself.
Interesting new knowledge is coming, new data in December with the University of San Francisco on the DNA and depression, both. That depression, very interesting for in your field, from a natural perspective, I mean. What we are talking, you come from, say, from the East, and there is a complete different approach to, say, God and the omnipresence. but and I come from the West, but we meet in the same terrain because we make it understandable not only for the East and then one for the South, one for the half South, and one more up north, and then they fight each other because of their differences. Again, we are not fighting, we are lightning. We are bringing the light, new knowledge, which is understandable for the mother in New York and the mother in Baghdad, same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And therein we find that through natural practices, we are able to tap into the universal wealth, which is able to provide every person in the world. It sounds all very utopic, but guys, let me tell you, the future is ours. And we are going to show it through science, and then it is a matter of time for the change.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now I have questions that are written. I'm checking my laptop right now. I'm receiving questions that are being captured from the chat, and I'm seeing chat as well. So I'm juggling these three. Now, one thing that I just saw right now that I thought would be really interesting, I think we can switch gears and talk about a bit of details about the method itself. And we could talk about different diseases and mental health and physical illnesses, because I do have other questions. But I think what's interesting is just touching a bit about the method and talking about a few details. So I'm going to start with a question, and I'm sorry I didn't see your name, but the question is, would it harm the brain? Would a breath hold or the breath hold harm the brain, holding your breath on an exhale? And I'm guessing he's speaking in general, so I'm going to add to it two questions. Would holding your breath on an exhale harm the brain if you hold it beyond a certain amount? Has there been any studies about that? Or it's just, because as far as I understand, it's just an incredible way to connect, and it's powerful for the brain. I cannot see it as being harmful.
No, not on the exhale, it doesn't. On the exhale, there is no tension. There is less tension than normal. So, absolutely not. Go for it. And the second part of the question, don't force, ever. Don't force. When you feel to breathe again, hey, that's nature. Then you need to breathe. You take them in and you hold. And follow that good feeling. Because the good feeling, your feeling is the guide. Always follow the guide, the feeling. Do not force. Then it will be always all right.
Perfect. Perfect. Beauty and Greens is asking a question about cold shower. Cold shower, is it best to do it in the morning or the evening? I think that's what
cold shower you can do any part of the day. I heard people saying, I'm a high executive and a lot of brain work I got to do on the computer. Then at 2 o'clock, I'm fully done there inside because all this going on. Then I just break. I do half-hour breathing, or I take a cold shower and I'm ready. There you are. So use it whenever you feel yourself inflamed inside your head. When you feel a little bit awkward, disconnected, whatever. If you don't feel clarity, get into the cold shower. It only takes a couple of minutes and you will be sharp. Besides of that, for all the women, but also the men, the cold shower, cold water on the skin is the best skin care. So easy done.
I agree.
You take it on.
I agree. And in terms of the cold shower, just to kind of add to that as well, if you do it in the morning, it's going to energize you. If you do it in the evening, it will energize you. But if you're worried about sleeping, there's a lot of research about cold showers to help stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system to help you sleep better. Even if it's like a cold or an ice bath or a cold shower before you sleep can actually help you sleep better. It's amazing. And the body will just use it in the way it needs it. So whether you need more energy or whether you need to rest, it will help you sleep better.
And why is that? Because when you go into the cold, you activate your adrenal axis. then all the cortisol, all the superfluous hormones, the hormones out of balance to keep you awake, because they are all triggers, suddenly go away. They are resetted. And then the melatonin is able to set in naturally. And then, of course, you go to sleep like a baby.
So I have a question from the live right now. Richard Kitty Mevis, I guess. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name properly. Can I do the breathing exercises when I am seriously ill with corona?
Especially, serious. You cannot, because corona is pneumatic edema. That means the fluid comes into, because of the inflammation, that the cell membranes are not able to hold anymore, and fluid will come in the alveoli into the lungs, and you are not able to breathe. But you know what they did in New York? They did a study on controlled hypothermia for 2 days, having people with 34.5 degrees core body temperature, controlled hypothermia, and they healed. They were bound to die of the COVID, but now they reversed because of the controlled hypothermia. That is one. Through breathing, in the beginning, when the symptoms are there, you are very well equipped to get it down. COVID, we have no secrets for COVID is inflammation. We are very well equipped to get it down with these breathing techniques. It has already been shown in 2014 in a comparative study.
That's amazing.
Yes. So the damaging factor of COVID is inflammation. Can we bring it down when it begins? Yes. But when the house is on fire, full, hey, can we do it? No, then it's not possible. Then you need the cold. Only the cold is able to bring down the severe condition, because your lungs are full of fluid. And you know, it's like drowning. It's terrible. But that is when you let it go. In the beginning, everybody listen to the signals. The pain signal, the breathing wrong, the nausea, all what is related to COVID. In the beginning, you are able to bring it down. 100%, all of you.
There's a window. There's a window of opportunity.
There is an absolute big window.
At the beginning. I remember recommending, and this ties into it, I remember recommending the Wim Hof breathing to several individuals that began to have symptoms. One of them started having symptoms, lymph nodes, and large lymph nodes. And within 24 hours of doing 3 rounds, it went away.
Well, yeah.
I remember.
I heard many as well.
Yeah. It's amazing. It
should be out in the open. It should be in the journal. It should be in the report, in the breaking news. CNN, BNN, TNN, RNN, TNN, all of them.
I agree.
But they don't want it. I don't know how ignorant they are, but naturally we are equipped to bring inflammation when it begins down through specific breathing exercises is even completely scientifically proven. So
absolutely. Okay, so Gandhar. Does Wim have any suggestion for someone that doesn't have access to cold exposure, someone who lives in a tropical weather? So someone living in a hot environment, tropical environment, that doesn't have access, even the showers are cold, not that cold, or they don't have access to big, huge chunks of ice to add. Is there any suggestion? Has anyone ever asked a question?
Get with a couple of friends a chest freezer. If you have a chest freezer, you just plug it in, the electricity in one night, you get freezing water. Then you get it out, and for 4 days, you get freezing water. Close the thing, and every time you get into the chest freezer, then unplug it a moment. I don't want you to be electrocuted.
Of course, no one wants that. Okay. Okay, Gul-e Zahra. What should be the temperature of water for cold baths and cold showers, and is it suitable for every season?
Yes, it's suitable for every day. So
yeah.
if you make of your winter a summer, for the people in the colden, northern hemisphere, they just take up with the winter. They swim outside in a river or natural bodies of water. That could be the ocean, the sea, the lakes. It's amazing. It's very meditative to do that. You really get to yourself because you are not thinking about luxury or any worries. When the cold water is cold, you think, I gotta go in. It's me going. Oh, you will be silenced. It's very meditative, and it has been shown. So in any other part of the world, when it is too hot, buy a chest freezer or do the breathing, because the breathing comes from the cold. When I went into the cold, I learned to breathe.
Yes.
The breathing is able to also open and contract the vascular system, which is 70,000 miles, 100,000 kilometers inside everybody of us. And it will then, these breathing exercises will then be able to exercise the muscle tension of the millions of little muscles in the vascular system, which cold is doing as well. So cold really is effective. And, with a couple of friends, even if you have no money, with a couple of friends, you should do this because it's better than a life insurance, a health insurance. It gives you a lot of energy if you regularly go into cold water. Could be from 0 to 10 degrees. That is in 32 to 50 degrees. What is it in Fahrenheit? But cold exercising thermogenesis is just bloody amazing. I'm sorry that it's so simple and it's amazing, and it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Go on regular basis into the cold. It's like making your ego shut up. Oh, I love it so much.
I remember the feeling. It demands, the thing about the cold is it demands your attention. When you step into the cold, it's really hard to think of anything else. If your marriage is falling apart and you step into an ice bath, I guarantee you it will demand your attention, and you realize that your survival is more at stake. You put things in perspective, things change, your mind shifts, and you may come back to resolve the issue even you're in a better state. So it does reset you, absolutely. There's another question by Go that I thought would be interesting to ask as well. Everyone says time heals everything, and we should wait for letting things and people go. We will heal by time. But how can we control that time if we want to heal earlier than the defined time? How can we heal ourselves by choosing our own pace?
By going past the time-space barrier, which is created by our persona. And so these breathing exercises are able to go shortcut into those areas of the brain which in time would work to solve the matter, or would be stored up like trauma, like hidden trauma. But if you do the breathing well, you're able to go past our time-space barrier of our willful control, and then suddenly neurologically you're able to tap into those areas and solve the problem. Could be emotion, could be disease, could be the purpose. What is the purpose of life? You can ponder for 20 years, 30 years, and then suddenly, that's time. That took time. But if somebody is having or you go walk on a street and a car comes, you suddenly see purpose of life. You know, then you get that shortcut into the deepest part of the brain, which is done by doing the breathing well. You better believe it, because breathing together with the interoception, the top-down regulation, the don't let nothing interfere. You want what you want, don't you? We are built to have a will that is able to get what we need. It's there. So now it's called top-down regulation. Just think about it. Come to your senses, think about this, and get even in terms with yourself and solve the matter. Shortcut. And then it's all nice, time heals wounds, but what if it could be 100 times faster? Which would you choose? Both are natural.
Yes. Here's my take on this personally. Gandhar, Gul Izara. I don't believe that time heals all wounds. I believe that we need to heal the wounds. Time doesn't heal all wounds. Say that, tell time heals all wounds. If you want to say that to someone that has been traumatized for 30 years thinking about the same thing and reliving it in their mind. Say that to someone that has phobias. Say that to someone that had a conflict with someone, a separation, grieving someone for 40 years, couldn't get over it. Time doesn't heal all wounds. We have open wounds. What happens with time is time buries wounds. It buries the open wound and we no longer see it, so we feel like it's not there. But the truth is, it's there. We just need to dig in, extract it to release it forever instead of leaving it inside. So time does not heal all wounds.
Beautiful. Yes, exactly. And now we found a way to tap into that. And then make graphics and show RNA, DNA, hypothalamus, amygdala, the bone marrow, the lymphocytes, the lymphatic, all thought of not being able to intervene into at will. And now it's there.
Yes.
So the paradigm will change, our understanding will change. And with our understanding, it's like we have a car and suddenly we know how to drive the car. How much faster can you go to the places where you wanted to go and all? Oh no, I have no money. Oh yeah, maybe in 10 years, maybe when I'm not working anymore. No, you should do it all now, man. Do it now. The purpose of life is to follow what you feel, not suppress it, not bury it. It begins here. Open wounds begin here.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
There we are.
Yes. Yes. Martin, it's Marthiijn. How would you pronounce that? Martin? Martin. Okay. How can we deal with panic in a situation where you can't easily calm yourself with breathing techniques or an ice cold shower?
Yeah. What they did with panic, put them under a cold shower.
Put them in a cold shower. So you immediately just jump into a cold shower and it resets you. Yes, absolutely.
They heat up. They heat up at that moment. You cool it down, you break the loop. Another thing is deep breathing. Force 10 times deep breathing, it changes. It cuts the loop.
Change the way you breathe, you change the way you think, change the way you breathe.
What you said in the beginning. It's what you said in the beginning. If you change the way you breathe, you influence your emotions.
Yes, yes, you change the way you feel by changing the way you breathe.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And so there we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's something else that I'd love to mention to Martin about the panic as well. The idea of one of the fastest ways as well to what we tend to do when we feel panic is we tend to either try to distract ourselves, which can help, or we try to suppress the emotion. The greatest problem we have is we suppress the emotion that we're feeling and we're in denial that we don't want to feel it. The easiest way is just to admit that you're feeling what you're feeling and say how you feel out loud. Just by saying, if I'm feeling a bit nervous right now, and I say, I feel nervous. As simple as it is to express the truth about how you feel, you suddenly get a release, but it's because we're suppressing it, it just makes it a lot harder in the moment. And I just want to clarify the idea of I feel versus I am. A lot of people, when they feel anxious or they feel angry, they're like, I am angry. The problem with saying I am angry is you are defining yourself by the emotion. So how can you ever get rid of anger if you are anger? But if you say I have anger, then I have a problem, I feel angry, then it's something transient. It's something you can get rid of. It's something you can release. But if you say I am angry, you just trapped yourself. Now, something I found in Japan about the language of Japan, that I'm in Japanese, the Japanese language, which was amazing. They don't describe or express negative emotions in the first person. So they don't say I am angry or I feel angry. They say anger is felt. And to me, that blew me away, because what happens is you're separating yourself from the emotion. You become the observer of anger. Anger is felt. I'm an observer. I'm watching it. I'm seeing it, witnessing it happen. And when you witness something happen, it can pass. You can walk away from it. But when you are the emotion, the language traps you. So that's really, really important to mention, basically. So I hope that was helpful. And so, yeah, you could use I am for positive stuff. You can say I am and link it to positive, but I would recommend using the language, change using I am to I feel, or anger is felt, or something.
And another little thing to add, through the interoception, we are able to steer neurologically by signaling at that moment, becoming conscious of our anger, to listen to the anger. Hey, oh, that came in. Something else has happened. And at that moment, you disentangle from the anger and you listen to the messenger again. And it works. At that moment, you are able to observe what is happening, because the anger is a signal. So the interoception, but the power of interoception and intention will then follow. Disentangled, power of intention. I want it to be good. Whatever is going on, I want it to be good. And it's able to fall in the space created by the detachment. That's the neurology.
A lot of people work against their emotions instead of working with them. Yes. Work with the anger, work with the fear that's coming up. Don't work against it, because if you keep running away from the anger is trying to give you a message. Listen to the message. Yeah, like receive the message to release the messenger. The anger will remain until you just receive the message from the anger, and then the anger will walk away. But we keep running away from it, and it keeps chasing us because it needs to give us a message. And it's amazing how we end up paralyzing ourselves.
Yes, a great conversation. Great conversation. Sam, I got a world summit going on very soon now. And it's also through online, a world summit coming together with James Nestor, maybe you know him. Yes. And Mark Cohen, a professor, and they have me on the panel on the World Summit for Wellness. And I think I need to clarify a couple of things over there. Let's not over-focus on breathing alone. We are the ones, we are the alchemists, not only by the breathing, but by our signals we are able to make within our bodies to be in command, to make the good things happen. Because nobody will not choose happiness if he would be able to be in control. And we found the keys to get our control back. We found them, and that's our conversations. And we make it more shortcut, more simple. We simplify, and we do it together with all you beautiful viewers, questioners, and we just provide a platform. And Sam invites me, and here we are. This is what we do. We are simple beings, yet we are changing the world. And this is the way we do it, together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I keep going with a few more questions, or would
more questions is great.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Squirrel with umbrella was mentioning, I'd like Wim to talk about safety of using cold shower during the period. And this is for females. We were taught as females to keep our female reproductive organs warm. So is it safe from that perspective?
Yes, it's a hormonal cleansing, what is going on, and the cleansing of unused eggs, you know, the period. The cold shower actually is able to help because the vascular system is at work at that moment. The cold is able to retract, but afterwards to let go. People with difficulties to let go in a period have pain. For those people, I say, go into the cold shower, because the pain is once again a signal. Something is not working. And it's coming from the uterus. And yes, we have found so many women with problems with the uterus, from infection to pain, and cold really helps. But if it all is going nice and okay and very bearable, just have a 5 days window of not taking cold showers. But I would say a cold shower a day, keep the doctor away, always. And now, which is Sam. Sam is the doctor. He is also here. He didn't go away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited, Wim, to have you here and to just have these conversations. And it was a blessing to have that last time and this time. And this is a bit different structure, but the questions are really like, I was so excited when I was writing them down. Like, I really want to ask Wim and see what he thinks about these. There's a question about.
I'm afraid, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we have an answer for anything.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Anything.
Yeah.
Because we connect, we believe, and
Yes.
therefrom we will be able to become mediums to bring clarity to the people. You did that by stepping away from orthodox psychiatry and coming into natural ways, and you are helping so many people, so many more people than you would have being positioned in that orthodox system. So me, myself, I'm experienced through life and always kept on searching. And it's like the butterfly. First it was a caterpillar. If you keep on going, then you will become a beautiful butterfly, everybody. So there we are.
Yes. Someone was just commenting right now. He said, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I have all the answers. So, but yeah, there's an interesting question about breathing. There's so many little questions and nuances about breathing that can be asked about the technique, but there's also questions to be mentioned about applications. And if you remember at the beginning of this conversation, I was mentioning applications. So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, and then we can take it wherever you want. If you want to take it and further, because I'm very conscious of your time, because it's already 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'll ask you 2 more questions. One is, during retention of breath, when I feel the urge to breathe, but I know I can handle more, is it better and safer to stop and take a breath, or to prolong the retention? Because I have a thought on that, but I want to hear you first.
Just take them in. It's easy. So, but listen carefully to your body. It could be a reflex. And you want to learn to overcome your reflexes. Go to the true breath hold, then the biochemistry is fully served. So yes, make sure that it is not a reflex, but don't take it to far, I have to know how far I can go. It's not a competition, no force, just feel good and change your biochemistry, because it has been shown 100% score in the universities to do so, and anybody can do it. That's my answer.
Perfect. I just want to add something to that, which is when I started doing the Wim Hof breathing, I noticed over time that at the beginning, there's always this psychological need to breathe. And then there's a physiological need to breathe, which is the one that when you feel it, you got to breathe. And for most people, they believe that the psychological need, which is what you're talking about, the reflex, is the need that means I got to breathe. No, if you wait, I used to wait for like 5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds. And if it subsides, it was just a psychological need. And suddenly I was fine. It was a little window that I was used to. And after a few times, it was completely gone. And I was able to just never have it again.
Yeah.
So that kind of connects with what you were mentioning about the idea of the reflex. Yes. But people at the beginning, when you feel that, just give it 5 seconds and see if it's still there. If it's increasing, it's not psychological. If it's increased, if you're still feeling the need and it's growing, that means you got to breathe immediately. Yeah. Would that be fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Last question. Tiago Cordero. When I do the breathing session, on the breath hold part, I start to imagine a beautiful place that I was in this summer. And by imagining, am I letting my consciousness be a part of the process instead of setting free my unconsciousness? And I guess what he was basically saying is it okay to do the breath hold and visualize something, or just allow whatever comes to come, or both?
Knock yourself out.
It's interesting because this is an example of one of the applications. One of the things I noticed, and this is my personal experience, is if I had a picture related to a negative emotion, related to an experience, and there was a negative emotion attached to it, when I hold my breath on an exhale, it feels like this neutral zone where it's hard to feel physical pain or emotional pain. So when I imagine during the breath hold, and I bring that picture that triggers a negative emotion in me while holding my breath on an exhale, especially after the first 30 seconds, I begin to change my relationship to the picture. I begin to change my relationship to I start to feel differently about it, because I'm bringing it to a place that is that is preventing me from feeling what I'm used to feeling towards the picture. So after the breath hold, when I leave, I think of the picture. It doesn't bother me as much, or it doesn't bother me at all.
That is the trauma release.
Yes, and it's interesting.
Absolutely works that way. What happens, you cleanse yourself into the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the deepest of our tissue. And our traumatic past pictures, images, situations, thoughts, still they're having a biochemical residue. And they are within our brain, but also in our body. And through the deep breathing, you cleanse it. And then the memory is there, but the negative biochemistry connotation is gone. It's gone. It doesn't create that negative thought. It doesn't create a negative feeling, because the biochemistry is gone, it's cleansed. So the feeling, it's not substantial anymore, it's only a thought. So that's the way you are able to observe and to contemplate upon it. Very interesting, but that's the way. The professors told me Wim Hof has found the secret of placebo. It's upon to us. What do we want? We found the button. We can increase the power, because we willfully are connected now there. And it's a choice we give you. You want to be at the bottom? Go there. and increase the volume to hear the sounds of the past and to rectify what needs to be rectified. So it is only in your memory, but no longer disturbing you. That's now what is there. It's the power of placebo is no longer abstract, it's real. It's healing power. It's up to you what you do with it. It's amazing how we are able to detach from our traumatic past of the biochemistry. In my following book, it will be all about just doing that. And it will be proven to the level of the DNA plus a study of depression itself.
When you were mentioning the study that in December was going to come out, the results, are you talking about the Dr. Elisa Appel study?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It is.
For anyone, again, I'm just going to mention this.
Angel.
I would love to connect with her. I would love.
You should. You should do that.
I will. I will.
Beautiful person.
In the chapter of ancestral burdens in the book,
yes,
you basically talk about the trauma and about how we basically carry the burdens of our ancestors in our genes, and how to actually, and how the Wim Hof method releases that as well. So I just wanted to make a note of that. This is huge. This is huge. I cannot wait for the study.
All new science, guys, and it's here for you to serve. Because our schools are not telling us these things. They still want us to be part of a system and to carry mouth caps and social distancing. Man, where's the immune system? Where's our control? We need to get into our innate control. The ability to be happy, strong, and healthy is ours. It's not my invention. It's Mother Nature talking to you.
Just to clarify something about depression and the link between the Wim Hof method and how that helps in depression. One, you're increasing oxygenation, which optimizes the brain performance. Two, you are reducing inflammation, which has been linked, inflammation of the brain has been linked to depression. Three, you are basically enhancing, I would imagine, the gut. Through the breathing, you're improving the gut and therefore enhancing the serotonin. 90% of serotonin linked to depression is in the gut anyway. And so, and four, I would say the amygdala, you're suppressing the amygdala. You're suppressing the hyperactivity of the amygdala, so the fight or flight response, which contributes over time to depression as well. So now you got 4 reasons why Wim Hof breathing actually helps. And I'm not even talking about the cold, the ice, the cold exposure. I'm just talking about the breathing. And that's one of the connections. One final question related to the gut. I don't know if there has been a study. So I'm going to ask, has there been a study linking the Wim Hof breathing to the gut and the microbiome?
Yes. What the matter is this: the inflammation is cause and effect of many intestinal diseases like Crohn's disease, endometriosis, colitis, ulcerosis, and through the doing the method, it just goes down. That means that the microbiome is not molested by inflammation no more. It is suppressed. That means that the ability to repair and restore the microbiome within the gut is enhanced big time. Simple. Wow.
Wow. Thank you for answering that. And thank you for answering all these questions. We're already hit over an hour and a half. We can never stop. And you know, I asked you.
I love you, man. We are able to keep on going because there's so much work to do. So much we feel we can solve already. But let there be another time coming.
Yes.
And say, when the studies have been, the data are all out and the study is out, we got to reconnect again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wim, for taking the time to have this session. And please, I mean, if there's anything, you know, I can do to help in any way, you can
You
reach out
already
to
did.
me.
You already did.
And I will continue to do in every possible.
That's it. That's it. Be
Thank
powerful.
you so much.
Be
Thank you.
lovable. In peace. We go.
I love you, and please say hi to everybody and take care of yourself. And I
Thank
look forward
you.
to connecting with you soon. Thank you so much. It's an absolute
Thank
honor.
you. Right on. Okay, Sam. Bye.
All right. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Love you. Bye, Wim. All right. That to me was, oh my God, the number of questions. We still didn't even finish the questions that we have. Yeah, there are a lot of questions that we didn't get a chance to basically cover, and hopefully we will in a future interview, conversation. And there's so much to cover, so much to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this. If there's anybody that has screen recorded this, please let me know. I may reach out to you for you to email me. Either way, if there's any other questions, please send them my way and we'll talk about them as well. I can always talk about the Wim Hof Method on my lives as well, just to let you know. All right. So have an amazing morning, evening, afternoon, night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye for now.